we now turn our attention back to Iame Mini. And after Heat 1, well, Milan Beku is going to start once again from pole position and will be joined on the front row by Lewis Boots in the number 830. Row 2, it's George Desmé and Didier Dardale in the 831 and the 898. Louis Peternut and Sem Sazlik in the 837 and 849 will round out row number 3 with Dorian Grandjean in the 817, joined by the 832 of Julian van der Cotelet. Vin Wines in the 806 and Axel Linders in the 866 round out the top 10. Followed by the 855 of Matteo Campobello, Joshua Lorison in the number 854, Bruce Chirino in the 875, Kik Barkers in the 821, the 881 of Luc Clé, the 807 of Kian Ten Hove, and then 833 Bram Konings in 17th, Maxime Van Kreen in the 880 with Lassie van der Weide in the 826 and Milo Cornel in the 829, rounding out the grid. Apologies, folks, we have had some slight issues reference the live stream, but thank you for bearing with us. So the drivers now head on to their official formation lap, ahead of 7 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. And looking back at the previous heat, some really, really good racing. We did have a couple of drivers be hit with a front fairing penalty. Sem Sazlik and Luc Clé were the only two drivers. Lassie van der Weide, unfortunately, being found to be underweight and thereby excluded from the session, having finished in what was, I think, around about 15th place on the road last time out. But Iame Mini getting ready. As Sem Sazlik slotting into his position in the outside of row number 3. Pole position for the circuit is on the right-hand side. And it will be down to both Milan Beku and Louis Boots. So Eichmann's Grand Prix and Fulcrum Racing on the front row. So our Iame Mini drivers keeping us waiting as the red lights are ignited on the starting gantry ahead of their second adventure around this circuit here at Marienborg. 7 minutes plus an additional lap. So we'll be scheduled for 8 laps of racing. Drivers instructed to slow as the revs rise. We are lights out. We're underway as Milan Beku swipes across the front of Louis Boots and to cover off George Desmé as we're 3 wide coming out of turn 1. Around about 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. But Milan Beku starts to get an initial breakaway on the 899. As Didier Dardale looks to have moved up into 3rd place. Oh. That was skating on thin ice around the edge of the circuit. That was the 881 of Luc Clé, who's found himself a lot further back. And it looks like Julian van der Cotelet might have made up a couple of places in the meantime for the Henza Racing team. But Milan Beku has started to really stride away into the distance at the moment as they come through, break the timing beam. And his lead from Louis Boots is... Well, it's not Louis Boots, it's George Desmé, who I think now has moved up into 2nd place, who finished P2 in the previous heat, and the gap was just over 0.3 of a second. One driver hemorrhaging places as they go up the hill and spins. Oh, dearie me, that was a 540 right there on one of the most precarious places at full speed. I think that might have been Joshua Lorison in the 8.54 who started 12th. I haven't seen that happen before. And there's also a yellow flag at Marshall Post 12. And that will be moving up towards the start-finish straight. So driver is out of the car, unassisted, all okay. No harm done to the driver. There's the 817. That's Dorian Grosjean chasing down Julien van der Cotelet on the Henze chassis. And then just behind them looks to be, I think that is, who's that? That's the 837, Louis Peternot. Meantime, there is a big old Barney happening in front of them, about 0.8 of a second up the road, and it's the two Falcon Racing drivers. Georges Desmarais versus Louis Boots is now up the inside of Julien van der Cotelet goes Dorian Grosjean. And then I think Louis Peternot might, well, it might be the fact that, oh dearie me, that was not how that was meant to happen. And at that point, well, Dorian Grosjean got through, and then Julien van der Cotelet made contact with Louis Peternot, I believe. And behind them, you've got Didi Dedale, Matteo Campobello, who I've just noticed his front fairing is wobbling up and down like a yo-yo at the minute. There's the two Falcon Racing drivers. Gap between first and second. Last time around, after 2 laps, was nearly the best part of a second and a half. So the two Falcon Racing teammates are running line astern at the moment. Boots just behind Desmarais, coming up to 3 minutes and 50 to go. Lap 3 in the books, and Milan Beccu's lead now is close to 1.5, well, it's just over 1.5 seconds between him and third place. Then Dorian Grosjean is a further 1.4 seconds behind this battle here. So, yeah, Joshua Lorison, the first confirmed retiree in this race. So we're down to 18 runners and riders. Dorian Grosjean looking to try and close that gap to second and third in front of him. So they're heading to Chemin de Fer once more. No in-race penalties yet to be issued with regards to possibly start infractions. But we are now into the final 3 minutes plus an additional lap. And then after this, we'll have one more heat to go for Yami Mini, due at 3:35 p.m. this afternoon, local time. So Milan Beccu, well, was having to defend last time. Right. Penalty has been issued in race for Kik Berkers. 3 second time penalty for 1 or 2 wheels outside of the tram lines. There has been a change a little bit further back, more towards the bottom part of the top 10. But Louis Boots content to stay in the wheel tracks of Georges Desmarais at the moment. Might try and go and steal that away from him in the dying stages of the race as we head into Chemin de Fer once more. Dorian Grosjean, purple sector, held by that driver in sector 1. Sector 2, it goes the way of Louis Peternot down in 5th place. But Milan Beccu, last time around, had to defend as if his life depended on it. This time, it's been very much a fait accompli. It's pretty much done and dusted. And he's expanded the gap now to 1.7 seconds. So between them, Desmarais and Boots are running anywhere between 1/10 to the best part of nearly 2/10 slower on comparative lap times when you take into consideration the driver at the front end of the field. Matteo Campobello has moved up now into 8th, having just got past Sem Saslik in the 8:49. Saslik running with MCK Racing. And Milan Beccu, last time around, new fastest lap and also now has gone purple. Sector 1, Milan Beccu starting to stretch that advantage. Can it be closer to 2 seconds by the end of this race when we hit the checkered? Well, that's dependent on the two drivers here, Georges Desmarais and Louis Boots. Lap 6 completed. Gap now 1.65 seconds to second place, and Lewis Boots gets through quite nice and cleanly. George Desmay didn't really need to fight it, and on that particular occasion pretty much didn't fight it. So I think maybe it's a case where Lewis Boots got the was third last time, so swaps it, making a little bit of Falcon Racing musical chairs at the minute. The timer is going to expire as Milan Becu will head his way into Escargot for what will be the penultimate time as the timer expires just before Milan Becu crosses the timing beam, and a 40.643 once again. So a very, very good run there by those drivers as Milan Becu takes us on to the last lap of the race. And Lewis Boots 1.85 seconds behind. Dorian Grandjean, Julien van der Cotelet, Louis Peternot, Didier Dedale, and Sem Sazlik, Milo Cornel, who's up 11 places, and Matteo Campobello rounding out the top 10. Bruce Chirino has made up 2 places, the youngster from the Netherlands, moving up to 11th. Axel Linders, Vin Wines, Kik Berkers, Maxime Van Krijn, Kian Tenhav, Lasse van der Weide, Lou Clay now ahead of Bram Konings as Joshua Lauritsen, who we saw doing that very unusual spin. Maybe that the back axle maybe the back axle locked up due to an engine seize. But it's going to be the checkered flag this time around. And after 8 laps, it's going to be 2 for 2. The winning streak continues here at KCL for Eichmann Grand Prix. Milan Becu lights out to checkered flag once again. And the 899 takes the victory after 8 laps by just under 2.5 seconds. Lewis Boots in P3 behind George Desmay. So provisionally, it's exactly the same as how it finished last time around. Dorian Grandjean, who finished down in 9th last time out, finished in P4 ahead of Julien van der Cotelet, and that's a solid pair of 5-place finishes between the pair. Louis Peternot, Didier Dedale, Sem Sazlik, Milo Cornel, Matteo Campobello, Bruce Chirino, Axel Linders, Vin Wines, Maxime Van Krijn, Kik Berkers, who will get that 3-second time penalty post-race and will stay 15th. Finishes ahead of Kian Tenhav, Lasse van der Weide, Lou Clay and Bram Konings, who rounds out the final classified driver, and unfortunately through the spin, maybe due to an engine seize, Joshua Lauritsen, who finished in 7th last time out, retired on the end of the opening lap. Next up, it's Heat 2, KZ2, KZ2 Masters, and X30 Super Shifter.